My name is John Specia. I'm a senior district court judge, and I'm jurist in residence for the Judicial Commission on Mental Health. I'd like to thank everyone for coming to the second annual Judicial Summit on Mental Health. We have many more people here today, but we have a much bigger venue, so we're far less crowded than we were last year. I'm excited to see so many people from across the state of Texas attending, people who are dedicated to improving the lives of those who have suffered from mental illness and IDD within the Texas court system. I hope you'll take the time to learn about the new developments. There's lots and lots of stuff going on all over the state, and those of you that saw the movie last night, my hometown of San Antonio is doing an extraordinary job of training officers and having a mental health unit to respond to those needs. I know Gilbert Gonzalez is probably here someplace, but it's a great movie, and if you didn't see it last night, hopefully you'll have an opportunity to see it soon. I now have the pleasure of introducing the co-chair of the Texas Judicial Commission on Mental Health, Judge Barbara Hervig. She was elected to Texas's highest criminal court, the Texas Court of Criminal Appeals, in 2000. Prior to that, she was an assistant district attorney in Bexar County for 16 years. She and I have been friends throughout that time, starting as young lawyers and somehow winding up where we are today. She is an author, a speaker, and advisor. She has a passion for judicial education and shepherds the funding for judicial education for the judiciary and the district attorneys. And she is co-chair of the Texas Judicial Commission on Mental Health. She's really one of the primary forces behind the creation of the Judicial Commission on Mental Health, and I'm excited to hear her visit with us this morning. Barbara.
Yes, John and I have been friends for a long time, and if you want to hear funny stories about him, see me later. Anyway, good morning. On behalf of the Texas Court of Criminal Appeals, welcome to the second annual Judicial Summit on Mental Health, sponsored by the Judicial Commission on Mental Health. I am very proud to serve as co-chair of this historic and collaborative commission, and I'm proud to see so many stakeholders and just people with general interest here to address these important issues surrounding mental health and our justice system. At this time, I'd like to recognize all the commissioners and collaborative council members in the audience. Would you please stand? These individuals give their time, expertise, and support year-round to help fulfill the mission of the Commission. They have special ribbons, like this, mine's turned around, okay, on their name badges and are here along with the staff of the Commission to lend a helping hand at the summit. Please join me in thanking them with applause again. Thank you. I'd also like at this time to recognize our grant lawyer who oversees, if you all get some stipend money, she's our grant lawyer. The court gets about $26 to $28 million per biennium for education across the board, and so when we can help the commission monetarily, we love to do that, and she oversees the divvying out of money. She's very popular. That's Megan, she's sitting up front. And one of my colleagues is here, Judge Kevin Yeary is here somewhere. Where are you, Kevin? Oh, there he is. Thank you, Kevin, for coming. These lights, I think I should give a confession or something. What I have observed as co-chair of this commission is that people are very excited about this mission. They have ideas and they want to share them. That is one goal of this summit, to share ideas. It is our hope that you'll leave the summit with practical ideas, resources, and next steps for your committees and communities. While Christy is going to guide you through all the deliverables provided to you at this summit, I'd like to draw your attention to a resource developed by the Court of Criminal Appeals. My staff and other partners compiled the Mental Health Resource Guide that's out there on one of the tables, which is organized by county. My staff did all this work, and they did a marvelous job, and there's some paper too that shows some addendums to it, and we will endeavor to keep it updated. If any of you have things that you'd like to share as far as what kind of organizations in your community are reaching out to help people with mental illness or IDD, please let us know. The website or the email address is on the inside cover of those books. Please help us by keeping this updated. I know some of you in the audience may already be familiar with this resource and may already have one, but for those of you that don't have a copy, or if you want to take it back to your community and share it with others, please do so. We keep them printed all the time, and they're there for your use. Now I'd like to introduce Justice Bill Boyce. Justice Bill Boyce is now a partner at Alexander DuBose and Jefferson. He served as a justice on the 14th Court of Appeals in Houston for 11 years after practicing law for 18 years as an associate partner at Fulbright and Jaworski. He's a member of the Texas Judicial Council, vice chair of the Judicial Commission on Mental Health. He's a member of the Supreme Court Advisory Committee, and he is absolutely a very, very valuable asset to this commission and to the legislative committee, and we thank him. Bill.
Thank you, Judge Hervey. I'd like to add my welcome to you this morning for this exciting event, the second summit, mental health summit that has been organized through the Judicial Commission on Mental Health. It is exciting to see nearly 500 attendees here for this event. That's an increase by at least 200 attendees over our inaugural event last year, and it confirms the dedication and commitment that everyone in this room has to improving the way that the needs of persons with mental illness and intellectual and developmental disability are addressed through the justice system. I'd like to recognize the chair of the curriculum committee for this summit, Judge Brent Carr. Judge Carr, where are you? Okay. All right. He has taken the laboring oar in organizing the curriculum and getting this massive undertaking organized, and we're very grateful to his for his service. Judge Carr is the judge of Tarrant County Criminal Court Number 9 and the founder of numerous specialty courts addressing mental health diversion, veterans, and human trafficking. And many of the topics that we're going to cover today have their genesis in Judge Carr's work and his committee's work. So thank you for that effort. If you attended last year's inaugural summit, would you please raise your hand? That's a pretty good number. And I'll also ask those of you who are attending for the first time this year to please raise your hand. Also a good number. Two good numbers together equals a great number. We're really pleased that you're here. This is a confirmation of the commitment that everyone in this room has to doing things better and more thoughtfully. And I think this occurs, it's important to note that this summit occurs against a backdrop of significant legislative activity in the 85th and 86th legislative sessions. And that too demonstrates the commitment of the state of Texas to doing better for persons with mental illness and intellectual and developmental disability, looking for ways to make the justice system more responsive to the needs of persons who become involved in it because of mental illness or intellectual and developmental disability. There are a number of bills that we're going to talk about up here today. The Judicial Commission on Mental Health has also summarized at least 62 pieces of legislation around these issues. They are organized and presented in a framework of the sequential intercept model, so that rather than just having a mind-numbing presentation of bill numbers to you, we've tried to organize this around the sequential intercept to give that a little bit of structure, and we're going to be returning to that shortly and unpacking some of this. The purpose here today is multiple. One of those goals is to get an understanding of the legislation that already has been passed, and to have discussions around legislative changes and other changes that we want to consider, discuss, and potentially recommend towards the goal of improving the administration of justice. Before we get to the first session, I now have the pleasure of introducing Christy Taylor, who is the Executive Director of the Texas Judicial Commission on Mental Health, and she is going to give a few remarks and housekeeping details regarding the summit. Christy started with the Supreme Court in 2006 as the Supreme Court staff attorney for children, youth, and families, and she was instrumental in laying the groundwork for the Children's Commission, which was established in 2007. In February 2018, Christy began as the Executive Director of the Judicial Commission on Mental Health. Please help me welcome Christy.
Good morning. This is an intimidating crowd, but I am among friends. It's so wonderful to see so many of you. Heard the traffic was terrible. Thank you so much for your commitment. I want to thank the judges up here this morning. With their unwavering support, we were able to create something new 18 months ago. We know this work is not new. You all have been doing this work for your entire career, some of you. But for the judiciary to put this as a top priority was quite frankly a risk to create something new. And by you all showing up, 500 of you today, you are supporting that and making sure that that effort continues. So thank you. I'd also like to recognize my amazing staff. They, you know when you get a dream team, you get whip-smart people that care passionately, work super hard. That's what we've had. There have been 4 of us doing all of this, and so I would like to recognize Belinda Swan. Will you stand? She was responsible for gathering the movie last night for all of you who got to see that. Reagan Matayer has written our bench book in most part with a lot of help from the committee, but Reagan, will you stand? Oh, here. And then our newest staff attorney, Emily Miller, joined the commission, I want to say in May, and then we promptly handed her this project and said, welcome, in 6 months you'll be doing this. So Emily, thank you. Okay, I have several announcements, so I'll try to go quickly. In your bags, hopefully you found your new bench book. So we had a first edition of the bench book that was released last year. This is the second edition, where we have added 2 new sections: civil commitment, competency restoration, and also a complete legislative update. Right now, it intercepts 0 to 3, but we intend to keep going, and in the future, adding juvenile justice, adding insanity, and I'm sure that you can imagine we haven't even gotten to substance use, so there's so much more to do. We're so thankful for the time and effort of our bench book committee. They really helped bring this to fruition. I'd like to recognize our leader of that committee, Judge Camille DeBose, is the district court judge of the 38th Judicial District in Medina County. Judge DeBose, thank you. The first page of the bench book recognizes the entire committee that contributed. It is a labor of love. If you can imagine trying to take all of the laws that are spread through so many codes and make them sequential and easier to understand and yet accurate, it's a lot of work. So if you contributed to the bench book, will you please stand and be recognized? People are being shy. Thank you. I'd also like to announce that you'll notice last year's bench book we had forms at the back, and this year with the new topics, the forms started to outweigh the content. We were so grateful that we had many counties contribute forms. So we have now moved those forms to an online bank that's already on our website that Belinda worked on with Reagan. And so right now the bench book will just be the content, and then we'll refer you to the website for the forms. If you haven't done so already, you know we have an app. It's Sked, like schedule, SCHED. You can download the app, and I just put in judicial, and it pulled up our summit. There you can find bios. That's where we're putting the PowerPoints, and you can actually find contact information for other attendees. And we'd also really like to get your feedback. That helps create a better summit next year. We have CLE, CEU, and TCOL credit. Make sure that you sign in at the registration table to get that credit. On the back of your badge should be 2 pieces of information. One is what HHSC region you've been divided into. It's not exact because some regions are large, as you know. So we have divided this group, I think, into 24 different sections. There will be maps and some guidance. That is for the 3:45 breakout sessions today. If you're in a very large county, the county may be meeting just with your own county. If you're in a smaller area, we've combined some of those counties. The second piece of information is who is your LMHA. So tomorrow when we meet with our rural or urban breakout, we will have some direction to try to sit with your LMHA to make sure you know your LMHA folks. We asked everyone to bring cards, and that'll be really helpful today. Also, we have a wonderful networking reception at 5:30. The session's in at 5:15. At 5:30, out in the lobby, we are able to do this from a generous gift from the Hogg Foundation on mental health. So very appreciative that they will have hors d'oeuvres, and the hotel will be providing cocktails. They are providing cocktails for the guests of the hotel, and there will also be a cash bar if you are staying at the Overflow. And speaking of the Overflow Hotel, there are shuttles that are flowing. They will run until 9 a.m. this morning. They'll return at 4, and then they'll run again tomorrow at noon at the end of the session. And I think that's it. Any questions? Find one of us with staff on our tag. And thank you all again for being here, and I'll turn it over to Justice Boyce for our first panel discussion, Mental Health Laws, Highlights, and Legislative Updates.